Welcome to Daily Dose Manhwa. Here, we know the struggle when you're juggling dozens of manhwa, a new chapter drops, and suddenly, wait, where did I leave off? Sound familiar? That's where we step in. Our mission? To make sure you never feel lost again. We break down arcs, highlight key moments, and recap storylines so you can jump right back in without missing a beat. Whether you follow one manhwa or 10, we've got you covered.
Today, we're diving into the manhwa Return of the Blossoming Blade. In a world where glory fades and legends are forgotten, Cheongmyeong, the revered Plum Blossom Sword Saint of the Mount Hua Sect, reincarnated 100 years into the future. Armed with the memories of his past life, he embarks on a mission to restore his sect to its former glory. Before we delve deeper, let's meet our protagonist. Our MC, Cheongmyeong, the Plum Blossom Sword Saint, is a sharp-witted hero with unmatched swordsmanship, blunt sarcasm, and relentless determination. He fights to restore his sect's former glory, balancing humor and brilliance in his every move. The whole story of Season 1 will be divided into these arcs. Arc 1, Rejuvenating the Crippled Giant. The story begins with Cheongmyeong, a martial artist, covered in blood during an intense battle. He is revealed to be fighting Cheongmyeong, the heavenly demon, and is the last survivor of his sect. After a prolonged fight, Cheongmyeong kills Cheongmyeong but dies himself following his final attack. Suddenly, Cheongmyeong wakes up in the body of a young man from the beggar sect. Gathering information, he discovers that 100 years have passed since. Worse, his beloved Mount Hua Sect is in dire straits. He sets off to confirm its condition. Upon meeting Mount Hua's current sect leader, Cheongmyeong realizes the situation is worse than expected: financial ruin, low-quality disciples, and overall decline. He decides to tackle these problems one by one, starting with intensive training for the disciples. One day, merchants arrive to demand repayment from Mount Hua's sect leader. Cheongmyeong investigates and devises a solution. Remembering a secret chamber accessible only by the sect leader, Cheongmyeong manages to open it and discovers treasures and ledgers. Using this evidence, Mount Hua pays off its debts and reclaims lost businesses mentioned in the ledger. Exhausted after opening the secret chamber, Cheongmyeong suffers internal wounds and searches for the replenished pill he had hidden in his past life. After consuming the pill, Cheongmyeong heals his wounds and experiences a significant increase in internal energy. He shares the remaining pills with Mount Hua disciples and intensifies their training, leading to overall improvement. Learning from past mistakes, Cheongmyeong understands that for the sect to thrive, every member must grow. His resolve to restore Mount Hua's former glory becomes even stronger. Arc 2, Catching the Big Fish. With Mount Hua's finances stabilized, a new problem arises: managing the sect's business operations. Cheongmyeong seeks advice from Zhou Gul, a disciple from a merchant family. Zhou Gul suggests reaching out to Elder Huang of the Yunhe Merchant Guild, known for solving complex issues. However, Elder Huang is gravely ill. At the same time, Yunhe sends a letter to Mount Hua requesting help to cure Elder Huang. Recognizing the symptoms, Cheongmyeong immediately heads to Xian City, where Yunhe's headquarters are located. Upon arrival, Cheongmyeong examines Elder Huang and concludes that he has been poisoned. Cheongmyeong prepares for the treatment while unexpectedly encountering second-generation disciples of the Southern Edge sect. Mount Hua's old rivals. The rivals propose a sparring match with Cheongmyeong, despite him being from the third generation. In an unexpected turn, Cheongmyeong loses the sparring match and faints after a heavy blow. The incident angers Elder Huang's son, who blames the Southern Edge sect. Cheongmyeong is given medical attention, but it turns out this was all part of his plan to lure out the culprit behind Elder Huang's poisoning. The culprit is revealed, and Cheongmyeong successfully neutralizes them. Cheongmyeong begins treating Elder Huang by infusing internal energy into his body to purify the poison. The process is successful, and Elder Huang recovers. Grateful for Cheongmyeong's help, decides to invest heavily in Mount Hua and even visits the sect to discuss collaboration between Yunhe Merchant Guild and Mount Hua. This partnership strengthens the bond between the two organizations and saves Mount Hua from its crisis. Arc 3, Steel Within the Flower and Dragon Roar. With Yunhe Merchant's support, Mount Hua's business sector becomes stable and prosperous. Cheongmyeong can now focus on training alongside fellow third-generation disciples. One night, Cheongmyeong accidentally observes a second-generation senior disciple, Huazhou, practicing sword techniques. Cheongmyeong is captivated by her movements, as they mirror Mount Hua's original scripture. Cheongmyeong learns about an upcoming martial arts competition, the Huazhou Contest, where Mount Hua will face their old rivals, the Southern Edge Sect. Angered by their past humiliations, Cheongmyeong vows to settle the score. He gathers the third-generation disciples and demonstrates sparring, showing them their current training is still insufficient. As a result, training intensity increases. When the second-generation disciples return from their secluded training, they notice the juniors' hard work and are inspired to train harder themselves. The Huazhou Contest finally begins, with Mount Hua hosting and the Southern Edge Sect attending as guests. Influential figures, including those from Yunhe Merchant, are present. The first match pits Baek Cheon of Mount Hua against Jin Jumyeong of the Southern Edge Sect. Baek Cheon, despite being the best of Mount Hua's second generation, is defeated. The second-generation disciples lose all 10 matches, signaling a complete rout. Then it's the third generation's turn. Cheongmyeong leads the way with a decisive win, inspiring his peers to follow suit. They achieved a perfect score of 10 wins from 10 matches. With the score tied at 10 losses and 10 wins, Cheongmyeong proposes a final match to determine the winner. In the climactic battle, Cheongmyeong faces Jin Jumyeong, the Southern Edge Sect's strongest fighter. Despite the generational gap, Cheongmyeong's vast experience and skill allow him to defeat Jin Jumyeong with ease. Cheongmyeong uses this moment to demonstrate the greatness of Mount Hua's martial arts. Cheongmyeong emerges victorious, leaving the audience, both martial artists and influential guests, in awe. This victory marks the end of Season 1 and the beginning of Mount Hua's resurgence as a formidable sect. End of Season 1, with Mount Hua's name reclaimed, Cheongmyeong's reputation as the Divine Dragon spreads across the martial arts world. The season closes as a boy from the Hua Shadow sect seeks Mount Hua's help against a new threat involving the Wudang sect, setting the stage for Cheongmyeong's next adventure.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Until next time, happy reading, and I'll see you in the next video.